Hello, my name's Catherine Almeida. I'm a solicitor at JCP Solicitors. The date today is the 30th of March 2020. I have been asked by For Cardiff to answer some questions on furlough for its members. So I'm going to ask the question and then I'm going to provide a response. Can an employee or worker decline to be furloughed? The short answer to that is yes, an employee or worker can decline to be furloughed. However, if they do decline, they risk the employer enforcing some other contractual clause, such as the right to lay off or short-time working. Can an employee or worker be contacted by an employer whilst furloughed? My view is that yes, an employer can contact an employee or worker while they're on a period of furlough, provided the contact is not for the purposes of work. How long does furlough last, and can it be extended or withdrawn? So furlough has to last for a minimum of 3 weeks per employee, but it can be extended beyond that. Ideally, there needs to be some agreement for it to be extended. Will wages whilst on furlough be paid in the usual way? Yes, wages should be paid in the usual way through the employer's payroll system. What happens if there is a period of annual leave during furlough leave? If an employee is due to be on annual leave while they're on furlough, my view is that annual leave will continue to apply and they should be paid for that annual leave in the same way at their normal rate of pay. What if an employee or worker was due to start after the 29th of February? Can they be put on furlough? The answer to this is no. The employee has to be on the books as at the 28th of February 2020. Once furloughed, can an employee come back to work, and how much notice should be given? So furlough is designed to be a temporary measure while the employer is not able to provide work. So an employee can come back to work following a period of furlough. In terms of notice, I don't think the notice period is stipulated in the current guidance. However, my suggestion is that the employer sets out at the start of the furlough period how long they believe furlough is likely to last, and then if it is to be extended, the employer should, before the date that it's due to expire, review the period and give the employee or worker as much notice as possible that furlough is to continue. Do employees need to adhere to company policy and procedure whilst furloughed? For example, the social media policy whilst on furlough? Yes, an employee remains to be an employee whilst on furlough, and they should comply with the employer's normal policies and procedures. If they don't comply, then the employer should deal with them in the usual way and the same way in which they would treat any employee who's not complied with their policies or procedures. Can an employee take on paid work elsewhere while they are furloughed? So the current understanding is that each job would be treated separately. So there is nothing preventing an employee being furloughed in one job role and continuing to work in another job role. The employee and the employer should, however, be mindful that under the employment contract there may be some restrictions that prevent an employee working elsewhere, and they would continue to apply. Are employers obliged to take staff back as normal at the end of the furlough process, or can they still make redundancies if necessary? An employer can consider redundancies following a period of furlough if a redundancy situation applies, and the employer should be mindful to follow the law in relation to dismissals for redundancy. Can a person be furloughed from more than one job? Yes, they can. If staff on a 0-hour contract are furloughed, how do you calculate 80% of their income? So there's a couple of options for the calculation. If they have been engaged for a full 12 months prior to the furlough claim, the employer can claim for the hire of either the same month's earnings from the previous year or average monthly earnings from the tax year 2019 to 2020. If they are employed for less than 1 year, the employer can claim for an average of their monthly earnings since they started work. If they started employment in February 2020, their earnings should be prorated. If an employee was made redundant before furlough was introduced, can they still be furloughed? This depends, so provided the employee was on the employer's books as at the 28th of February 2020 and the employer agrees to take them back on, they can be furloughed. Will furlough affect annual leave entitlement? No, annual leave should continue to accrue in the same way that it would. So the 5.6 weeks annual leave under the working time regulations would continue to accrue during furlough. In relation to any additional contractual annual leave, that would be governed by the contract, which may provide for annual leave accruing in circumstances where there's no work provided. So that brings an end to the questions that I have received to answer from For Cardiff. I'm very grateful for For Cardiff sending the questions over, and I do hope that you found this video useful. A reminder that JCP Solicitors are currently operating as normal, but for the fact that all our staff are working from home. You can contact JCP Solicitors on the website www.jcpsolicitors.co.uk. Thanks again to For Cardiff, and we will most likely do another video blog when more information becomes available from the government in relation to furlough and COVID-19 generally. Thank you.